Welcome to this episode of YouTube, where I've been titled it Always Watching, and certainly that is something that we see. This is Grizzer. He is in the back habitat, and he is looking over the fence on top of the den and watching the exhibit pack up the hill. Even though they're separated, they still do have visual contact with each other, and I think that's really important for them because obviously they hear each other, they know the energy that's going on next door, and the ability to be able to see it, I think, is important for them to be able to process what they hear. And so this is the back habitat. Luna does the same thing. She is up on the back habitat there watching, and we have designed all the dens to have kind of ramps for these older wolves to get up and down. And they're together, again, as, you know, a pair of wolves living in the same habitat rather than just kind of coexisting. So, like I said, that's important, and it's good stimulus for them, so they get to see what's going on. The exhibit pack only gets to see them when Luna and Grizzer are in what's called the pack holding area, which is the smaller front part of this retirement compound. And that is, you know, again, something that we can block that if we need to, but there's no reason to. It's, you know, if the pack wants to watch each other, that's fine, and it's good stimulus for them. So here's Grizzer sniffing around looking for rodents as well, so he's not too old to hunt, so that is something that's important for him. But like I said, Luna is a little bit more focused, and so when she gets on something or she sights something that she wants, her behavior has a tendency to get a little bit more obsessed about it. And so this is a piece of birch bark here floating in the pond, and it's not really a pond, it's a wading pool. This is actually where the pups would normally be, so it's a area that's not very large and isn't maintained very deep, so that the pups can wade in, and there's rocks along it so they can climb out, and etc. We actually use soy paint on the edge of this to kind of give it a little bit of traction. We're due for a new painting there, but you can see Luna's a little bit more hesitant. Grizzer, he just climbs right in. So this is what's called the pack holding area, and the back side of this enclosure is the east side retirement, and that one's got a much larger pond. So also in the exhibit pack there's another pond, and that pond's quite a bit bigger, runs about 4,000 or 5,000 gallons of water. We did get the new filter system. UV filter system is now in the pond, and so that gives the opportunity for that water to run through a UV light and to control algae. You can see here that we have an upper waterfall, and obviously the pond is a great source of stimuli for the younger wolves, and as well as some of the older wolves. This is Denali, who's chasing around with the yearlings there. You notice also we have a couple of rocks in the center of the pond. That gives the wolves an opportunity to jump from rock to rock and cool themselves. They can sit on that rock, or lay, if they can, lay on the rock and you know, dangle their feet in the water and kind of stay cool. So that's another feature there. But you notice the whole time Aiden's sitting up on that pump housing. The pump housing is where all of the electrical and all the things are to run the pond, and that's protected so that obviously the wolves can't get into electrical, but it's a great vantage point for Aiden to be able to watch what his pack is doing. And here's Bolts here showing another little watching behavior. Bolts had a situation where I believe it was last year or the year before, he was stung by a bee, and it's created a little bit of an obsessive phobia for him about bees. So that's keeping him pretty busy, watching the sky for incoming bees or any kind of buzzing that goes by his head. So I wanted to report a little bit about Aiden here. Notice Aiden's stance is a little bit kind of crooked in the back end there. We had tried to get him down for a medical exam earlier. Didn't have a great time drugging him, so we decided two things. One is a growth had kind of expanded a little bit and had grown on his front left leg that was causing us some concern, and then the back legs being a little bit unstable, we thought it was a good time to try to get him down to the clinic. The hair, we've been brushing them so that we get rid of some of that hair, so he's a little bit cooler. The pack is starting to calm down a little bit for summer. And what we did on Wednesday is we brought the entire exhibit pack back to the east side, moved Luna and Grizzer to the back habitat, and drugged Aiden, took him down to the clinic. Our veterinarian, Dr. Pace, took x-rays of Aiden's hips. She said everything looks good. His knees look good. She took x-rays of his vertebrae. There's no real issues of arthritis or anything, that this is probably just a pinched nerve that's causing him to a little instability or stance, being a little bit out of the ordinary. So again, it may relate to that stomach issue that we're dealing with. His digestive tract seems to have some problems digesting large quantities of food, and that weight on his belly could be causing a little bit of a pinched nerve. So we'll be working on that, trying to some different medications here in the upcoming months to see if we can help him out with that. We also went ahead and had her remove this growth on his front left leg. So if you see him on the webcam, you'll see a large incision. It's very clean. Took it off on Wednesday, and today it's Friday, and that incision is very clean. That's waiting on a biopsy. The tumor was really fast growing. There were a lot of active cells there. We don't know what it was, but she was able to remove the entire growth as well as the root systems, and so that was very important. So we'll try to figure out what that is, and it's not a fatty cyst. We know that. He does have another fatty cyst from, which is typical of a 9-year-old getting that, but this was something we felt was a little bit more important to have removed. And the other thing is timing. Flies are coming out, so we want an incision that's going to heal up before the real biting flies. It's not to mention, I don't know if you caught that, but Bolts was sticking his head out of the den there in the back, looking for the biting flies himself. So, like I said, those are kind of things that have been going on this week, and so pack activity has been picking up. They are definitely switching to a more crepuscular pattern of activity, active in dawn and dusk. We've been watching them on the webcam, so 7 or 8 o'clock at night they start picking up, and 9 o'clock seeing a lot of activity, 9 and 10 o'clock at night. I did stay overnight on Wednesday night when Aiden was first back on his first night after being immobilized, and like I said, we had the pack away from him, and we slowly integrated the pack back in to the exhibit, but we basically had to recover Aiden in the exhibit. If we were to have taken him all out, the other wolves could have perceived him as dispersing, and especially Bolts been very testing of him. If Aiden were to have to come into the pack with that incision. So that first day, the yearlings were let in first with Aiden because we knew they weren't a threat, and then Denali, and then obviously Bolts followed up later on. And that first day, Aiden was definitely in pain. It was that's a major issue to have a lump removed, and to be able to kind of deal with that was all he could do. And so he basically isolated himself in the top of the enclosure. We checked on him frequently. By the second day, Grayson was lying with him, and actually we watched Grayson block Denali from approaching Aiden, and then one of our wolf care intern did an enclosure check and saw Aiden lying there with his leg on top of Grayson, where his incision was, and he was licking his incision using Grayson kind of as a table. So it pays to bond with those young pups, because when you need them and you're older, that comes in handy. So that's what's going on with the pack, and so it's been a rough week. It's always hard when you immobilize a pack leader, but we're happy to have them all back, and waiting on that report to see what's the next steps for Aiden. So thanks for watching, and again, just wanted to share with you the misting system, and how much this is Annika Hahn's donation here, and how much Axel likes having misting water in the summer days. So we'll see you next time.